I don't care if this takes 20 minutes. No matter how long this takes, you think and you make sure you get this right. No matter what, get this right. For my platform, what would have been better that night? A Chris Koch win, not a Dylan Jacob win. For me to rig the tournament for Dylan, it makes no sense for the Matty Ice show. I was depressed after the event. The minute after the event, I felt like I just lost my girlfriend. It was really weird feeling, bro. Not that like the event went bad or anything. It was just like it's over with now, and I was really depressed. I wanted to cry. I didn't want to go up there and be like, yo, you hear this crowd, you got to take Chris Koch. I didn't want to do that because then I'm taking the judge's opinion away and I'm making it my opinion, but then I'm literally taking the whole integrity away from the show. This event will be talked about 10 years from now. There's too many people involved in it, too many different variables were in it, and this will be talked about for a long time, however you want to break that down.
Yo, welcome back to the Heatin' Up podcast, the hottest podcast in the game. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe button, follow, rate, all that good stuff. But again, thank you for tuning in to another episode. 6 months ago, we had a very special guest, and honestly, one of my favorite guest episodes that we've ever done. Today, we brought him back because a couple weeks ago, he just threw the biggest hip-hop event in Arizona history. And we got the man himself back, Matty Ice, back on the hottest podcast. Matty, welcome back, bro.
The hottest and the coldest, we're doing it again.
Hottest, coldest. We had to, bro. Genuinely, before we even get started, because you know we have so much to talk about, the episode we did 6 months ago genuinely is one of my favorite episodes.
It was a great interview.
Honestly, the vibe was perfect. The flow of conversation was perfect. So I really appreciate you coming out again. Like, for sure. Again, you're such a busy guy, especially now. You're everywhere. But I appreciate you taking time. You know there's a lot we got to talk about this event. But let's start it off. You were just in Vegas. Rick Ross shows, a couple of stuff like that. How's that been? How was the trip?
It was incredible. So I had the event on August 19th. And then the 20th was my birthday. So on the 20th, I went and took a ride to Vegas and kind of celebrated my birthday in Vegas, had some dinner out there, and just kind of relaxed, to be real with you. I was decompressing. Like after this event, I needed to decompress. There was so many different elements to it and so many different emotions. And to be real with you, I think just this past few days, I'm just coming off the emotional roller coaster of the event.
Yeah. And I can imagine, like, again, it's been 3 weeks. There's been a lot talked about. And before we get into all the mix of that, talk to me a little bit about before the event, starting this. How did this even come about? Like, it kind of seemed like a surprise. Obviously, you know, this probably took time to set up before you even went public with it. But talk to me about the process. Before you went public with it and let people know, how long was this even in the works?
Okay, so it's crazy. Like, you know, 6 months ago when we did the interview, this wasn't even talked about, you know, like the 64 contestant freestyle tournament, the 16-bar freestyle challenge. Like, it wasn't even in my head. But then one day I woke up and I'm like, you know what? Let's make rap a sport and let's have these artists compete against each other. Let's bring Belaire involved in it and let's work out a Warehouse 215, a really nice venue, and let's give a cash contest, a cash prize for these artists and contestants to compete for. And that conversation started. Then I brought it to the owner of Belaire, Brett Barish, who loved it. And we wanted to incorporate Belaire into the entire tournament. So like even our brackets, like one of the brackets was the Belaire blue bracket, and then we had the Lux bracket and the rose, you know, and the gold bracket. So we kind of branded everything within Belaire. And then it was super dope to see guys like Ross get involved in it. So I was talking to Brett Barish about it, and Brett loved the idea. Obviously, Brett's a great business owner, and when he sees something that he wants to be involved in or that he likes, he jumps on it. So he loved the idea of having the tournament and incorporating Belaire in it, and he told Ross about it. So I woke up one morning, maybe a few days after I was discussing this with Belaire and Brett and everything, and Ross goes on his Instagram and he's like, the Matty Ice Luke Belaire tournament is happening in Arizona, and this is what's happening, $10,000 of this person, this. And this is before, truly, we were talking about getting venues and this and that.
Yeah.
But this was really before we had anything locked down.
Wait, you didn't even know he was going to, I thought you guys planned, make a video.
I had no clue that he was going to do it at that moment and announce it. No.
I had zero clue. So when you saw that video, you're like, oh shit, this is legit. Like, we're in it now. Like, we're really, really in it.
When I saw that video, I was like, okay, now I got to get this venue locked down today.
Go time.
And let's get this thing started because we have one of the biggest artists in the world that loves this. And he supported the event up until the day of. Actually, he supported it. I was just with him, and he just talked about doing the second one. He's been incredible. He's been a major supporter of it. He congratulated Deshawn Cory on my page, the winner. He saw the winner. So I think that was great, and Ross was behind it. So when he announced it that day, he was the first one to announce the tournament. Ross was. So when Ross announced it, I said, you know what, we're doing it. We were going to do it anyways. I think we moved a little quicker after that, and then I was like, now how am I going to fill 64 contestants that want to compete against each other? That wasn't easy. So that was its own grind. And then I had 27 performers that performed, and they all performed. That was its own grind. Because people are like, Matty, they looked at my schedule and they're like, bro, how are you fitting 27 performers in with this tournament? And I said, don't worry, we're going to get it done. And people didn't think, to that day, people didn't believe it. They thought it was going to be a logistic nightmare. But we got it done. Yeah,
on paper, I mean, it is like a crazy big feat. And again, having one of the biggest backing it is like crazy pressure because I was like, okay, now I really got to go. I mean, you kind of talked about it. You kind of answered my next question, but like the biggest worry before all of this started playing out, was it just the scheduling of contestants and getting all this rolling? What was your biggest worry about the whole thing?
Man, there's so many. But I think the biggest stressor for me was filling my bracket, which I didn't fill the bracket until maybe a few days before completely. And then, then you fill the bracket and then somebody's sick or somebody can't make it. And then I'm filling in the bracket and getting more people to, standby list. So I think for me, it was filling the bracket and getting the matchup set was not easy. And anybody that would ever attempt to try this will realize how hard that is. Also, you're getting artists to compete against each other. Not every artist wants to sign up and go on camera to get to lose. And everybody thinks they're going to win, but eventually you're going to lose.
Yeah.
Unless you win. So not every artist wants to go and have a piece of that either.
And just talking about that, I'm thinking about one of the like most controversial stuff that started right when it spiraled. We're talking about Arizona rap. Murkemz' name comes to mind. And this obviously trended a little bit because Murkemz, one of the best freestylers in Arizona, is not doing the tournament.
Right. I thought he was going to be my first entry, to be honest with you.
And that's what I wanted to ask. Like, did this catch you off guard a little bit? And did you understand his reasoning? Because again, he was talking about, he brought up the price point, and that started to become a conversation when he talked about why he wasn't joining.
Yeah, but we offered Murkemz a free slot.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we offered Murkemz a free slot.
Okay. Do people know that?
Yeah, I believe Two Tone announced it.
He did.
Yeah, we offered Murkemz a free slot. I don't really think it was the money for Murkemz.
Yeah, just the status. He's like,
What did he say? What did you hear that he said?
Just based on what I saw, based on like the Instagram and the other podcasts talking about it, just how like money was a factor. I could be wrong about this, so don't quote me, but money was a factor. How like anybody could pay to get in, so he really didn't feel like it was a valid competition.
Sure,
that's what I heard. Another thing, he's like, I already worked my way up on all these stuff. Why would I go ahead and compete with these people who aren't on my level?
Got you.
Which and again, respect to him. He's amazing at his craft. So, but did you take that in a slight disrespectful way?
So I respect Murkemz as an artist. I respect his manager Bryce and his team. So I respect his choice not to come do it. Did I agree with it? I didn't agree with it. But do I respect it? Sure. I respect his choice as an artist and respect his what he's done and his path. And his management, Bryce, and his team and himself decided that it wasn't for them. But to say, he's worked himself way up to here and done this. Well, I have guys like Oswin Benjamin that joined the competition, that won La Russell's challenge or that won Bobby Schmurder's challenge just recently for $25,000, and he has a lot of accolades to himself as it is. We have Dylan Jacob, who was signed to, who did the 4 with Diddy and Khaled. So we've had a lot of artists of either ruler. We've had a lot of artists that have done a lot of things, that have done maybe even more than Murkemz. But what I will say is that I respect his decision not to do it. There's no bad blood there between me and Murkemz or anything like that. And I think that he's a hell of an artist.
Yeah. And plus, like, I'd imagine you saw the little diss track. It wasn't on you. It was kind of on the podcast.
No, I saw that.
And stuff.
Yeah, I
Do you
saw
think
that.
that helped? Like, the controversy behind it? Do you think it was helping? Or did you kind of be like, okay, it's kind of hurting my competition?
Well,
how did you view it?
I think anything that is talking about the show is helping it. I would have loved to see Murkemz enter it. I think he would have done really well. He could have even won it. I don't know. We had the right winner in Deshawn Cory.
Yeah.
But, I would have loved to see Murkemz enter it. He didn't. Maybe he'll enter a future one later on the road. I thought it was for him, because these that's his lane, and
Yeah.
he shines, and he can really go do that stuff.
Yeah.
So it would have been cool to have him, but again, I understand why he didn't, and I got nothing but respect for what he's doing.
Yeah.
And I really respect his manager. So
Fair enough. Yeah, credit to him. A couple other beefs before the competition started. You saw Dylan Jacob, Chris Coke kind of tripping back and forth, starting to get the hype up a little bit. Were you worried at all about, certain, because again, like you said, everyone feels like, okay, I'm going to win. And, competition comes talking shit. People start doing their own thing. They start talking shit back and forth. Sometimes it can turn into bad blood. Did you start getting worried a little bit like, okay, maybe this might escalate into something I got to really watch out for? Do I got to focus on security at this event? Am I worried about something happening? What was going through your mind?
So I think whenever you're dealing with an event like this, with a tournament and a freestyle competition and money on the line, egos are going to be high. Testosterone is going to be running through that building. And people want to win the money. And I think you got to take security seriously in all situations with a big crowd, or especially in an event like this. So we made sure we had like 20 security guards on site. A lot of these artists came with their own security as well. So that was nice to just have extra protection there.
Yeah.
I wasn't worried as far as like something happening at the venue, to be honest with you. I think that everybody there at least handled that side of it all as a true professional at the venue.
And then coming into it, starting the event, was everything like good on plan? Like, just to check, because again, there's so many moving parts in this whole thing. It literally works up right down to the minute. Did anything go wrong, or did anything stress you out before coming up to it? Other than the brackets filling, because I know you said that was kind of
there's a couple things that happened at the show that like when like Big Doobie's mic went out at the championship round, that was crazy. And he took it like I love Big Doobie.
He was phenomenal.
He was phenomenal.
Killed it.
And his mic went out in the championship round when he was going off, and like the fact that he didn't complain. And the fact that and that was for the 10,000, like that was the round for the 10 grand. The fact that he didn't complain, and just like shook my hand afterwards and was appreciative of the opportunity, I'll never forget that. Like to me, that was way more than 10,000. Like him doing that, like if I ever have the opportunity to get him on a song with that person or that person or that person, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
that's
genuinely, like I'm doing it because I want to do it.
Of course.
But yeah, there's little things that happen, like a couple artists couldn't make the tournament that were on the bracket. So I'm on my standby list, making sure that gets filled in. So many different things, but to be real with you, everything was really on point and schedule.
Yeah, no, and it seemed that way. And again, I couldn't be there, unfortunately. I did really want to be there, but you streamed it on Twitch, which, by the way,
shout
good
out
job
Weasel,
to you.
Did an incredible job of that.
You and your team, amazing job. So
Weasel and Manny, they did a great job.
You guys, amazing work, because again, people were live in the Twitch, like everyone was popping out consistently. That lasted like 8 hours, I think. Like,
we streamed the entire event,
the whole thing, and I was there from the start to the end. Crazy. Which was amazing, bro. Like the production was perfect on it. And I was like, wow, this is like legit. And so, but something I saw, a critique that kind of caught my eyes, just based on the people in the chat and stuff like that, the performers and the performances. There was a critique about, one critique was how, all these rappers are rapping over their lyrics, and it's already playing, like, why weren't they actually like freestyling or performing correctly?
Are these the performers, not the contestants?
The performers, not the contestants. Yep. The performers. And, they're putting their song and they're just like lip syncing or doing it to their music. And that was a critique I saw. They're like, wait, why are they just not going a cappella? This is their music.
Sure.
I'm just curious to get your ideas on that.
If I was an artist and I was going to go perform at a show like that, I would be going over the beat without my lyrics. I would want to go a cappella over the beat. Personally. But a lot of artists, maybe they're not developed there yet. Maybe they're nervous for some reason. I don't know. But if I was a manager, I'd tell my artist to just memorize your lyrics, bro. Yeah. and because at the end of the day, if it's your own song and you can't go perform your own song, what are we doing?
And I think that's what we were curious about.
What are you doing?
I just wanted to see, like, did that make sense to you, or was that like your call or something, or no? Like they decided they had.
I'll be real with you. I don't think I really watched too many performances.
Yeah.
I was moving around a lot, so I can't really remember too many performances. Maybe a few. But no, that's strictly up to the artist. I don't dictate how they perform. They do their thing and they get their amount of time that they scheduled for. And but yeah, if you're an artist, I think you should go over the beat. Even when you're in, like, I just had a couple people perform in the studio just now for the show.
Yeah.
And they went over the beat. I think it's better to go over the beat. It sounds way better.
Yeah. And I think, we have mutual agreement. But still, the performances were good. One other critique I saw with the performances was, why were there so many of them? Why was it so long? What was the gap about? Like,
yeah, I've heard that from a few people. There was a lot of performances. There was a big gap. I think with that, bro, is people were wanted the tournament. They wanted the freestyle. They wanted the tournament. They wanted the competition. But, I also was doing this as more of a festival route and more of I had 10 to 12 hours of the venue. So, like, on a business side of it all, bro, like, I wanted to utilize my 10 to 12 hours. And that's what I did. Now, the next run, do I have ways that I want to do this a little bit different? Yes. When you put 20, my whole goal was this, is to get my 27 performers on stage and to get the tournament over with. Yeah. So and make sure the tournament ended. Yeah. Tournament first, performers second, obviously, because we got to get the tournament done.
Of course.
Number one, we got people that are competing and there's money. That was one. I didn't know if I was have to cut some performers or not. If I had to, I would have. But we didn't have to. So the number one goal was getting the tournament in and the performers. But yes, I did hear that critique. It is a valid point. And I do think on the next round, we'll figure out a way to do that. Maybe even we do a 2-day festival, the next one.
Yeah, and people forget, again, like, this is the first one. Like,
and people also, bro, like, when they do freestyle tournaments and shit, they don't involve 64 people. They involve about, like, 20 or 30, maybe 15. 64 is a whole different beast.
It is crazy. I can only imagine what that was like to manage.
It's a whole different beast.
So, but again, it's such a good style. Like, you guys executed it very well. Yep. Because it was a good flow, and every single round was super engaging. Like, right after it started, I'm like, oh, this is going to be good. Like, all the matchups were great.
For sure.
So, overall, I think you guys did a great job on that. To get into a little bit of controversy. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Let's get into one I saw. Obviously, there's the big one. I'll save that for last. But one of the big ones I saw, people were complaining about, seems like, and I think you just reposted him. He was on a podcast, but Tyler Gill. Mm-hmm. Okay. This dude, credit to him, he did a great job as well. It seems like people were upset that he
had a couple controversial rounds. I think.
A couple, back to back. I think he beat Quincy Scott. All right, in the round, I think round 2, I believe. And that seemed like a controversy because everyone was either in the crowd also upset, on the chat everyone was upset, on Twitch, Instagram people were a little upset. What did you think about that round personally, now that it's kind of all wrapped up and you've been able to see it back a little bit?
Here's what happened with that round. Two-Tone announced Quincy Scott as the winner right away. That wasn't the case. Mm-hmm. And the winner was Tyler. And the judges were, it was loud in there, and we were trying to let Tone know and let the stage know who won, and somehow the message didn't get circulated to Tone, and Tone announced Quincy, but it wasn't Quincy, and I'm sitting right there, and it was Tyler.
Yeah.
And Tyler had a great night, and he was really animated. He had that was the best night I've seen Tyler rap ever. I mean, ever. So he really had a good night, and he really came in prepared. I thought he did a great job that entire night, and Tyler was the winner of that by the judges. There was no, there was nothing going on there. Tyler won the round based on the judges, and that's based on those 3 judges. Everybody else can have their own opinion, but those 3 judges, I think it was 2-1 Tyler, I believe.
And then come again, Tyler's up. V the ruler comes up,
out. Yep.
And Tyler ends up winning that one too. That one seemed like an even bigger debate about it because everyone, but not to mention V obviously had a big support on his side on that. So again, like these judges,
V's a heavyweight.
Yeah, of course, and he was one of the I think top 10 right in your guys' bracket. Like he was number 4 or something like that.
Yeah, he was in top.
So
5
he was up,
yeah.
And again, it shows like bro, both did amazing work.
Of course,
like you said, like it's up to these 3 judges. I feel like a lot of people stop understanding that because the crowd was swaying a certain way. Two-Tone was doing his thing. Everything like that. At the end of the day, like these judges make decisions for themselves. But what did you think about that decision against Tyler again? And how did you think you probably knew you're like, this isn't gonna go well. Just know because again, it is their decision, but you probably knew like, this probably is not gonna be the vote that people wanted, and it's gonna be pinned on you.
So I already knew going into this, bro, that I was gonna lose followers and I was gonna lose people that supported me immediately after the event. I already knew that. You got to understand where you're going into a big event like this with a lot of emotions, it's not going to 100% go your way. You want it to 93% or 92% go your way and deal with the other 8% the following day or deal with that later on in life. But you want to make 92% of the people happy and deal with the 8% the best way you can. And that's how I went into it. I knew that I was going to lose followers, which I did. People that I didn't think that I was going to lose, I did. People that I thought maybe I wouldn't, I did. Whatever. So I knew that would happen. With V the ruler, he didn't, and I called V to get him in the tournament. Like I wanted V in it.
Yeah.
I pursued V. I wanted V in it because V could rap. And with V the Ruler, he didn't have to enter this to prove anything to anybody. He already is a GOAT. He didn't have to prove anything. V can rap. V's an incredible artist and somebody that I respect in a lot of ways. So he didn't have to prove anything. I think why the judges picked Tyler that round is Tyler was very, very animated and very enthusiastic, and he had a lot of energy to him. And I think that just really carried him. And that's my personal opinion on why Tyler did really well. And lyrically, I thought he did great. You know, I didn't listen to word by word of what V said or what Tyler said, to be real with you. So I can't tell you who I personally thought won that round because I didn't listen to it the best way I should. So I can't give you my opinion, but I'll check it out again. But yeah, there was a lot of controversy. A lot of people thought V won. But the judges went Tyler. And, you know, they didn't know Tyler from a can of paint.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They heard of V before. You know, they didn't know Tyler from a can of paint. You know, no one did really.
Yeah, so there really is no like personal bias to do anything.
And he didn't make the Final Four either. So it's not like there was like this was rigged for Tyler Gill.
Yeah.
You know, nothing like that.
You know how it goes. Like it's the same way with sports. You know, whatever doesn't go their way, it's automatic. Oh, controversy. Oh, this. Oh, they're biased judging.
Everything with this tournament was completely kosher as far as legit. I didn't want to interfere in any way. It's not fair to anybody. Could my influence have maybe swayed a few things here and there? Maybe. But that's not the route I wanted to go. One, because once I start influencing the show, the whole integrity of the tournament gets thrown out the window.
Absolutely. And then we get into probably the biggest controversy of the night. Chris Koch versus Dylan Jacob. Probably the matchup everybody was waiting for.
Yeah.
Again, they hyped it up before. We finally got it. Everyone, again, Chris Koch, an Arizona guy, correct? Dylan Jacob, Vegas.
Chris Koch won the Freestyle of the Year on my show last year.
And he's phenomenal. And again, both did incredible. Like, that is easily probably one of the best.
It's epic. It's doing great on YouTube, too, by the way.
Oh, it's
incredible. Their battle's doing great.
Yeah, no, and it makes sense. Chris Koch, Dylan Jacob, they do their thing. And now we're in a 15-minute, 20-minute wait for the judges.
Yeah, it was like 10.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I was walking back and forth. So, go ahead. Continue.
So my question is, again, now that you've kind of settled down again and you've watched it back and you've reposted it and you've seen public opinion and you see all this, did your opinion on it on the night and now change? Do you believe the right winner won?
So if there was one person that I didn't want to have an issue with coming out of this event, it was Chris Koch. I was in a lot of communication with Chris coming up to the event. I even DM'd him the day before and told him I loved him and I'm wishing him, you know, the best of luck. He's somebody that I supported hardcore on my show. The past year especially, he won Freestyle of the Year on my show. He earned it. He really earned it. He went crazy. It's one of my best freestyles on the entire Matty Ice show. So it was unfortunate that this had to happen with Chris Koch and Dylan because, again, I'm cool with Dylan too. Dylan's my friend. You know, that's a known thing. People know that I'm cool with Dylan.
Yeah.
That's a known thing.
I think that probably didn't help your case either,
yeah,
right?
but, you know, that's just a known thing, and that's been a known thing. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm friends with Dylan. But Chris Koch's from Arizona, so let's just call it what it is. For my platform, what would have been better that night? A Chris Koch win, not a Dylan Jacob win. It was for me to rig the tournament for Dylan. It makes no sense for the Matty Ice show, especially being in my own state in Arizona. It makes zero sense. Literally, there's no narrative there. It makes zero sense. For me to rig it for Chris Koch makes a lot of sense, right? Yeah. Especially with the crowd and everybody there, and Koch winning the Freestyle of the Year on my show. And to be real with you, I'm a diehard Chris Koch fan. So for me, like, it made sense, right? I think where the controversy comes into is that Dylan went a cappella, and we didn't express that rule as a committee and myself that you could go a cappella or you couldn't. And I think that right there adds controversy to it as well, because Dylan did go a cappella, and we didn't say it was allowed or it wasn't allowed. And technically, if Chris wanted to go a cappella, he could have.
Yeah.
So that played a role into it as well. And it's unfortunate how it played out, because now Chris unfollowed me. I unfollowed him. We're not on good terms right now. You know, he's upset. And I understand some of his frustrations. And, you know, I tried texting him a few days ago, and I'm blocked.
Okay,
so it's real. Like, our situation right now is not in a good place. And it's unfortunate. And to be real with you, it kind of hurts, because, like, here's somebody that I'm in Arizona. Here's somebody that I truly was rooting for. Like truly, really, really was rooting for. And truly think he's extremely talented. Mm-hmm. I think with the right plays, Chris Koch could be the best out of Arizona. So it's unfortunate being in the situation we are today, and maybe that will change. Mm-hmm. Now, when you're asking me who do I think won that round, personally, I liked Chris Koch better than Dylan. Personally, I liked Koch's verse better than Dylan. I thought Dylan's verse was great. I thought a little bit of it was corny, to be real with you. A lot of people like that, I'll take my dick and slap it on your...
Yeah.
I didn't like that line. Everybody else did, though, but everybody liked that line.
Yeah.
I personally didn't like that line. Don't get me wrong. I thought Dylan's championship round was his best round.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, that was his best round. Personally, I thought his championship round was incredible.
Yeah.
And his round against Chris Koch was incredible.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't know what it was. I liked how Koch flowed better. Mm-hmm. I think the reason why Dylan got the win with the judges is because he really attacked Koch. He was animated. He was touching him. He was grabbing his chain. He was in his face. He was really dissing him. Mm-hmm. Where I think if Koch were to be the aggressive Chris Koch that I know that he can be too, like when I saw him on bars on 95, mm-hmm. and I think if he was in your face, in Dylan's face, giving him that real Chris Koch feel, I think it would have been a different view. But I do see where the judges could go either way. And to be real with you, Deshawn Cory, who won the tournament, said Dylan won that round. Big Doobie, who was in the finals, said Dylan won that round. Mm-hmm. So there's two finalists right there that said Dylan won that round.
And Arizona guys too, right?
Deshawn Cory won the tournament and said Dylan won the round against Chris Koch.
And then again, the judges, Arizona guys too, some of them.
So Lolo's Chicken and Waffles.
That's who it is.
Larry from Lolo's, who owns restaurants out here, he immediately voted Dylan. It was there wasn't even a budge. Mm-hmm. So personally, if I was judging that night, I would have voted for Chris Koch that round. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not taking anything away from Dylan because I told everybody Dylan's not to be fucked with. He's an incredible artist.
He proved that night too.
Yes, and he's incredible artist and incredible person. So Dylan's not to be fucked with lyrically, and I think everybody should understand that now. Even Deshawn Cory came out and said he needs to be respected, and that's just a fact. The Chris Koch situation's tough, and we'll see where it goes. I think that we'll see where the future goes.
Yeah, I'm curious to see. Two-Tone was very vocal that round, okay? And I know the judges are basing it off of their own opinions and stuff like that. With the wait being 10, 15 minutes, with the crowd being so hype and energetic, and then with Two-Tone screaming at these judges and vocalizing his opinion on the stage as a moderator, do you think that swayed any opinion? Do you think that might have upset some of the judges too? Like, yo, like, you need to chill out? Okay, Dylan.
So I think Tone... First of all, Tone did an incredible job.
Amazing.
Promoting this event up until the event. He did an incredible job. I think he did a good job hosting the event too. Mm-hmm. There's a couple things that I think if he comes back and hosts that I'll talk to him about. Mm-hmm. But I didn't want to control what Tone was doing. I wanted him to do what he does and let him be his own character and do what he does. Do I think that helped? No. I do think that it did bother the judges. I mean, clearly you saw Jeter get up and it did bother them. So I don't think it helped. I don't think it was ultimately made the decision, though, either. I don't think it helped, though. And I think as a host, you want to give respect to each opponent because Dylan still came up there and did his thing, and that's what the judges do is they judge. The reason why it took 10 to 15 minutes is I'll take some blame for that. Immediately, Larry from Lolo's, I mean, we're talking about from the moment that Dylan put his mic down, he voted Dylan. Like, there was not even a split second of that's it. So it was Dylan immediately there. And I understood the magnitude of the situation here. I also understood who I'm dealing with. I'm dealing with two people that could technically win this thing. Mm-hmm. I'm dealing with two people that were in the top 5. I'm dealing with, two people that I know that have been on my show before.
Yeah.
And I stressed to Lex and to Jeter, I don't care if this takes 20 fucking minutes. No matter how long this takes, you think and you make sure you get this fucking right. No matter what, get this right. And I kept stressing it. Get this right. You can even see when Jeter called me, if you saw the live and Jeter called me over, that's when he told me who won. And if you can see my facial expression, I understood the moment of what was about to happen. I was nervous at that moment because
I was gonna say
I had no clue who was gonna win that. I did know Larry went. I knew Larry immediately went Dylan.
Yeah.
So I did know that. But I didn't want to go up there and be like, yo, you hear this crowd, you got to take Chris Koch. I didn't want to do that because then I'm taking the judge's opinion away and I'm making it my fucking opinion.
Yeah.
And I'm taking the whole integrity away of the show. Could I have forced it and be like, yo, you need to do this? Maybe. But then I'm literally taking the whole integrity away from the show. So what I did is what I did when I said I started the show is this is your decision. And I am out of it. You guys are here for a reason. This is your decision. I'm out of it. Make your decision. And I kept stressing that. And Jeter finally said, we got our decision. Mm-hmm. Jeter voted Chris Koch. Larry voted Dylan. And Lex voted Dylan. Mm-hmm. And 2-1 Dylan.
Yeah. And again, it was a great round. Like, both of them did their thing. It was amazing. Overall, like, it was bound to happen. Honestly, either way it went, it was going to probably be some controversy regardless. But you did the right thing at the end of the day. Like, you did leave it up to the judges. You told them take the time, which is good.
I did, yo. I think next time I won't be walking back and forth to the judges' tables because I can see on the outside looking in. Well, what is he doing? You know, so I can see like I get that, but the conversation was strictly, yo, make sure you get this right, please.
Absolutely, and
like 3 or 4 different times.
That's the most important thing.
That's all it was.
It was a phenomenal round, regardless. All right, and that takes us to the final round, right? Big Four. They go up there again. 3 Arizona guys versus Dylan, right? Vegas, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. Push Your Luck, Big Doobie, and Deshawn Cory.
Deshawn Cory, and then Dylan Jacob. Out of the 4, personally, again, Deshawn Cory, I think you're right, and I think everyone agrees he was the winner. That round he did was powerful. Like the whole moment, he's the last one to go. You know, God did beat playing in the back. Like everything about that whole moment was like perfect.
Do you know what's funny, bro? Is he was in my top 10. I ranked him.
Were you the one who made the top 10 rankings?
Yes.
It was you. Okay.
Yes. So I ranked the top 10.
Yeah.
I did the seeding myself.
Okay.
And I put him in the top 10. Keep in mind, Deshawn Cory had 1,000 followers at that point. I never heard a song of his. I didn't know anything about him.
He was on your show?
Never.
I
never knew him until he entered my tournament. He was my first entry. He was my first or second entry. I never knew him. I never knew of him.
Yeah.
He did time. He was away for a while, and he came back, and he talks about it in his album, actually. Mm-hmm. But he was away. He did time for a while. He just came back. I think he just got out recently. Okay? He did like 10 years. So he just got back. He talks about it in his project, Southside Story, that's out right now. Make sure you guys stream that by Deshawn Cory. Incredible person. Great person. He's going to be a judge at the next event we do.
I saw. That's dope.
So this is what's funny about that. My first call was Mercedes, who's heavily involved here. She's Richie Evans' manager. She's very in tune to the culture here in Arizona. She's a GOAT. And she called me, and she's like, you know who's going to win your tournament, right? And I'm like, who? She's like, Seif. I'm like, who's Seif? She's like, Deshawn Cory. I'm like, give me a break. I don't know this guy. Who is this guy?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Deshawn Cory. Who is this guy? I didn't know he was.
Yeah.
He's going to win your tournament, I promise you. Okay. Mercedes, sure. I got Oswin calling me. I got all these V, Oswin, Dylan, Coke. You know, I'm hearing all these big names. Sure, Deshawn's going to do his thing. Cool. Then I start seeing my phone rings again. Bryce Breeze, Murkemz manager. Mm-hmm. Bryce, who knows a lot of the artists, right? Manages Chris Koch.
Yeah.
Deshawn Cory's going to win your tournament.
Oh, man.
Deshawn Cory's going to win your tournament. What's with Deshawn Cory guy? You know, like, who is this guy?
Yeah, you're like...
I got big people calling me saying Deshawn Cory's going to win your tournament. Bryce, he knows rap and hip-hop. Deshawn Cory's going to win. Mercedes, she knows rap and hip-hop. 2 people, very prominent names, are calling me saying he's going to win your tournament. Okay, I'm taking it a little more seriously. Then I start seeing him practicing at 5 in the morning and all this shit. So then I'm like, you know what? I'm hearing all this stuff. He's taking it seriously. I'm putting him in my top 10. Put him in the top 10. Mm-hmm. So when I sat back that night, actually, before I went to bed, I said to myself, you know what? We did it. We got the right winner. Because you know what? Deshawn Cory won. The judges didn't know him from a can of fucking paint. They had no clue who he was. I promise you, they didn't know who he was going into the tournament. They knew the names, the bigger names in there.
And a lot of us didn't. Again, like a lot. I learned a lot of these names because of your tournament.
Facts. There's a lot of cool. Even the Kid Friendly, he's somebody that I really fuck with right now. Yeah. But the judges didn't know him. They had no incentive to pick him. And then I said to myself, you know what? Mercedes called me 2.5 months ago and said he was winning. Bryce called me 2 months ago and said he was winning. And Deshawn won. I said, we did it. We picked the right winner. And I said, you know what? You're out of all the rounds we had, I think we have over 100 rounds, with everybody. Yeah. You're going to have a couple controversial rounds. It was unfortunate it happened between the Dylan and Chris Koch round. That was the one I didn't want it to happen. Yeah. So it was unfortunate in the Heatin and Tyler, but obviously the Dylan and Koch had a lot more volume to it. So I knew there was going to be some controversy, but I said to myself, you know what? We got the right winner. Because Deshawn won. Everybody thought he was going to win, and he earned it. I mean, he really lyrically came in there and earned it. Great dude. And really positive guy.
And he deserves it again. Like, the dude, I mean,
he came in ready.
Coming from no one, like, nobody really knew who he was.
Right.
But it's like, after the first round, wait, who is this guy? Right. Whoa.
Exactly.
And then, I've seen your post and a couple other things like Deshawn Cory, dark horse, don't count him out. I'm seeing him.
Bro, see, I was on top of my show, though.
Yeah. So I'm seeing it. I'm like, man, they're just hyping up these randoms. No offense, of course. Respect to him. No. But I'm like, they're hyping up randoms, like whatever, because they have to, right?
Dude, I was making blog posts about Deshawn Cory.
That's what I'm saying.
Because of the attention that people were feeding me, bro. I didn't know who he was.
Exactly, because you're like, what do they know that I don't? What's going on here?
Right.
And that's got to be a weird feeling too, right?
Right.
You're like, who is this guy?
Right.
And he proved it, man. He went crazy.
He proved it, and
that last round was the perfect.
Yes.
It was. Like, that made the whole night. It was like the perfect way to close it out.
He did great, bro, and I'm happy that he won. As promised, he got paid his $10,000 5 minutes after he won. We counted it out in front of him. It was on video. He got paid. Dylan got his $1,500. Big Doobie got his $500. Push Your Luck placed in fourth, which is still great. So at the end of the day, like, the right winner won. It was a big moment for Deshawn Cory's career. Ross saw it. Ross congratulated him. And I think what happens next for Deshawn Cory will be even bigger. He's going to judge the next tournament. I'm working on that right now. I got some crazy names already involved in it. I have all my 3 judges already. So,
64 again?
Yeah, I'm doing 64. People are like, you're nuts. But you know what? I just did it, and I can do it again, and the demands there. Like, people are begging me right now to sign up. Like, I can right now, like, if I announce the event, I'm going to have 30 contestants by tomorrow morning, probably.
Yeah.
So people want to be involved in this, bro, because they also know, like, we paid out. We did it. We were as advertised, minus a few little things.
Yeah.
Nothing was against the advertising. It was just like a few little kinks that we had to work out. When you do a 64 contestant tournament with 27 performers, you're going to fucking have a few little kinks that you're going to have to figure. I don't care who it is.
Yeah.
Trust me. And at the end of the day, we did it pretty fucking good. And we got the right winner. And that's really the bottom line. Like, no one hit me up like, yo, you better give me my money back or some shit like that. Like, no, like, at the end of the day, like, it was what it was.
Did you have being there live and stuff? Yeah, you picked the right winner. Hearing all 4 right when they were going to decide, did you automatically think Deshawn Cory out of them too? Because Dylan Jacobs was amazing. I thought that was his best round. Like, his Final Four.
Do you know what's crazy, bro? Is at the Final Four, I was so beat up emotionally and, like, mentally.
Yeah.
That I couldn't even enjoy the Final Four. I'm going to be real with you. I had so much going on in my head at that moment.
Especially after that Dylan.
And just like everybody, dude, like, I can't explain to you that just when you have 64 people and 27 performers and everybody's asking, can we do that? Can I do this? Can I get this person in? This person's here. It was a lot, bro. And at that moment, I just almost wanted the night to be over, to be real with you. But again, I knew the right winner was picked. I rewatched, Deshawn's, and I watched all of his rounds. I was kind of out of the event at that moment, to be real with you.
Yeah.
And I let the judges do their thing, like.
That's what they're there for. So again,
Dylan only lost by a half a point. It was 27 to 26.5. So it was close. But Deshawn Cory won, and even Dylan was like, yo, like, he went crazy. Like, he shook my hand afterwards. Like, it was crazy. Like, no one was mad that Deshawn Cory won. Like, there was no controversy there, which thank God, because he deserved it.
Yeah. So overall, again, I thought it was the perfect way to wrap it up.
And to take it to, like, that whole thing too. Like, let's get back to the Chris Koch Dylan thing really quick. Like,
sure.
To say that Matty Ice rigged the tournament for Dylan, because that's kind of what I think Chris Koch thinks, or his team thinks maybe. What was the point of rigging it to him to win second place?
Storyline, like, we can't give it to him, so we'll give him second at least.
It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense,
but I'm saying maybe
there's more of a storyline for Chris. Like, if I had Chris Koch in, then it's all 4 Arizona artists. I can't lose.
Yeah, that would add, and you'd be a hero. Oh, all 4 Arizona. This is great. Everyone's happy.
For my platform,
yeah,
it would have made. It did great that Deshawn Cory won for my platform. South Phoenix dude, great, and he deserved it. So there's not taking that away from him. And he could have still won if Chris Coke went in it. No doubt.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have maybe changed anything. But what I'm saying is that
it just doesn't make sense overall.
it just doesn't make any sense because there's no narrative there. There's
Yeah.
more of a narrative for me to rig it for Chris.
Yeah, but again, like it comes with these competitions.
I get it, bro. I get
the-
it, and there's a trust in there, and
And so, let's talk about after the event.
Mm-hmm.
Again, overall, it's a very, very successful event. I am curious. You don't have to give me an answer on this specifically, but monetarily, was it a successful event overall? There's so many moving pieces. So many people got to get paid.
yeah.
Was it a successful event? In terms of that.
Tone got paid very fair. Kyrie got paid very fair. The host. Hold'em got paid very fair. The DJ. Everybody was paid on time.
That's important.
There's not one outstanding invoice. And financially, I mean, bro, we sold out our bracket. We had a lot of moving parts and a lot of budgets and stuff like that. But yes, it did so good that we want to do it again.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna do Matty Ice Fest, and we're not gonna do it at Warehouse 215. We're gonna do a different venue.
And I want to talk to you about that for sure.
that's
so
coming.
yeah, we'll get into that. Yeah. So yeah, after the event, you wake up the next morning. Happy
My
birthday.
birthday, yeah.
Happy birthday. Yeah.
I went live, and there was a bunch of controversy. I don't know if you saw that.
I was in that live
Okay.
eating it up for
People were
breakfast that
accusing me of.
morning.
I don't know if you saw what happened after that with whatever.
So basically I was in the live.
And to be real with you, I was in my live, and I think we had like 200 people in there at one point.
Yeah.
It was me, Dylan, and Chris Coke. Like, here.
That was funny.
There
That
was some
really funny interaction.
seriousness to there, but there was also an entertainment side to that.
Very interesting.
You know, I'm trying to entertain at that point too. 200 people that are in there. I'm trying to like entertain the 200 people that are in there on my birthday. Like,
Yeah.
but there was also a serious point to it as well. So like,
course.
you know, we got to also, as people that are putting content out there, know where the line is.
And then again, so you know,
Definitely my biggest live.
they and it was a great live. Again, they kind of settled. Chris and Dylan kind of talk a bit, and it was like entertaining. It was like, oh, okay, maybe there's not a lot of bad blood. Like
Right.
it was hype.
It
and
got
stuff like
worse
that.
after,
Cool.
yeah.
I can only imagine. And then you're solo, and you see a couple people in the chat just saying some,
Yeah.
some stuff.
Yeah, and I was hyped up that
And
moment.
I was gonna say, I can only imagine the feeling, the emotion, the adrenaline still coming off of that high
Yeah.
after all of this work, months of work,
Right.
and the event.
People that I know talking shit too.
That's what I'm saying. So the switch up from the people, I can't imagine what that's got to be like, because again, I can only imagine the people there were always like, oh, Matty, please, yeah, thank you so much for
Facts.
this. After the event, they didn't get what they want, or they weren't happy
Sure.
about this decision. Oh, Matty, instantly talking.
Sure.
Instantly talking.
Sure.
How did that, and again, you blew up. You blew up on the IG
Yeah, I did.
Live.
Yeah, I
You
did.
just started
I
going off.
crashed out.
Yeah. Which is natural, man.
No, I crashed out, bro.
It's
Yeah.
natural. So
I think I crashed. I think it was a little bit. I think I went a little bit off. I think a couple people in my camp were mad at me for it. But
they tried to stop you.
yeah, I went off, bro. I really was in the moment, and I really
Yeah.
went. Yeah, maybe it wasn't the smartest move.
You happy you kind of got it off your chest, though? Or would you kind of regret it?
No, I'm happy I got it off my chest. I think I wouldn't have been so aggressive, but I was also entertaining at that point.
It was so
so like at the end of the day, like every time I'd scream, my numbers would go up.
I
So
couldn't
like it was
click
just
it
like
off. I couldn't click
right.
it
So
off.
like it was just like whatever, bro. I was living in the moment. I was having fun, but at the same point, I was serious too. And yeah, it was awesome.
So how have those relationships now that after the event, it's been 3 weeks, certain things like that. You kind of told me a little bit, you're moving a little different now. You
Yeah,
kind of
bro,
see the true side of things after all this is said and done. How's it been?
Well, one, bro, like, I've been doing this now for almost 4 years here, like 400 interviews in Arizona, or 400 interviews on YouTube almost. And I think, when you reach a certain level, you just got to move a little bit different. I'm not saying like I'm at this crazy level of, anything, insane, but I think that I'm going to move smarter now on who I deal with, who I'm talking to, where I'm going, and how I'm moving, bro. And I think that as everybody grows in their field, I think you got to do that no matter what field you're in. And I'm definitely doing that now, and I'm definitely going to be extremely reserved. You're not going to be able to get a hold of me anymore. You're not going to be able to just reach out to me like the people have been. I know who's who. For instance, you reach out to me to do the podcast, I reach back
really
immediately.
appreciate it.
Yeah, but like just certain situations, bro. Like I don't know a lot of these people. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm very picky on who I'm going to talk to. I'm very picky about who I'm going to give my energy to, and I think that's just what it is, bro. Like, listen, I'm dealing with. I have a lot of people in my phone that I deal with that are a little bit different, and different rooms that I've been in, and I don't know if people understand that or take it seriously or not, but I know what's up.
Yeah,
I know some things that are coming. So for me, like I play my role, and I think that because I'm not involved in the club life out here and that I don't go out and that I don't intertwine with the scene here, I think that it actually fucks with people more here because they're like, they feel like they have to do that. They have to go to the clubs and they have to mingle and do all that to make them pop and irrelevant. Yeah. For me, it's the complete opposite. I stay away from everybody and I move. You feel me? And that's, I think, my lane. Mm-hmm. And I think that kind of bothers people, to be real with you, is that fact that I'm not outside.
But also it makes sense because, like, again, you don't need to do that. 1, 2, hell, I mean, you're with Rick Ross. Like, that's your kind of, like, going out and stuff. But not to mention, like, I don't think anyone can debate the love you have for Arizona in general. Like, people kind of switching up and being like, oh, yeah, he's a... Just like certain things.
I could have done this tournament in Atlanta. I could have done it in Vegas. I could have done it in Cali.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you really brought it to the city. Again, we don't have... And people talking shit in Twitch and stuff like that. Like, oh, look, this is why Arizona has shit events. Or, look, this is why... Just like little comments like that. And it's like, yo, you know how hard an event like this must be to put on? This is why people don't do it. Because even when they do it, there's no love. And it's like...
Yeah, we flew Lex in from Canada. He was just with Ross the night before at Ross's Canada show. He flew in to judge the event from Canada. Jeter's Ross's manager for the past 20 years came and judged the event. We had real industry heads in there. Curtis Young, Dr. Dre's son, witnessed the whole event. He was there. Dre's son was at the whole event. We had some industry people in there. We had Eddie Lacy from the Packers. We had a lot of people in there.
Yeah.
And I think that it definitely brought an industry feel to Arizona. Fat Boy came and performed and shook hands with everybody. It gave an industry feel to Arizona. And I will say this, no matter how much you break this down, this event will be talked about 10 years from now. However, people will be talking about this for a very long time, no matter how they break this down. There's too many people involved in it, too many different variables were in it, and this will be talked about for a long time, however you want to break that down.
Yeah, which is why, again, that's why it's disappointing, like, to see it from an outside view, because, again, like, we have people trying to make things happen like you,
right?
And then people shit on it. This is why people don't do things here.
Yeah, dude, but don't get me wrong, though. There is some people that have that maybe didn't like the outcome, but don't get me wrong. The demand is heavily there right now, and people fucking loved it. Like, I've had very few people say that they didn't like the event. Even the people that lost thought that was like a cool concept event. Like, so at the end of the day, like, it was a concept event. We did something completely different. We had vendors. I had vendors there from all over, all over the country. I had vendors. I had fucking contestants. I had performers. I had liquor, drinks, and just bar. We had a whole bunch of Lolos. We had a whole bunch of shit going on.
Yeah.
So, like, it was a concept event. And again, you can't make every single person happy, but you tried to make the most of it.
Absolutely. And for the first event, it was amazing. Do you plan on doing the next ones different states, starting to kind of bracket it out, or are you staying local?
I have so many investors and people that are hitting me up to do this in other markets and other states. Like, they look at us as the leader of this now. Like, some people are like, yo, you actually were able to put this together and brand it the right way with the 16-bar freestyle. So, like, I do think this is going to be a major, major thing for the Matty Ice show. It's like my child now. Like, what am I doing next? Like, what's next? So, like, I think that was the depressing moment of right when I walked out of the venue and got to the Uber to the hotel I was staying at. I think that's when that depression kicked in. I was depressed after the event. Like, the minute after the event, I felt like I just lost my girlfriend. It was really weird feeling, bro. Not that, like, the event went bad or anything. It was just like, it's over with now. And I was really depressed. I wanted to cry. It was fucking weird, bro. How I felt. Like, immediately after. I'm talking about 5 minutes after I was depressed.
Yeah. But that's because of all the work you put in all the way.
Yeah, and it's over with now, and like, and like, what's next? And I think that's where it's at now, is like, what's next? Okay, we did all that, but I'm a big what's next guy. What's next? Yeah. So what's next? And now, like, I had to take a week, and I'm like, no. People are telling me I can't throw events here in Arizona. People are telling me, no, okay, let's announce the Matty Ice Fest. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I'm all about foot on the gas. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. And to be real with you, demand is there. And I wanted to do the 16-bar tournament once a year in Arizona, and I want to do the Matty Ice Fest once a year in Arizona. So, two different things. The Matty Ice Fest will have the tournament at the fest. But we'll have one strictly for a tournament, and then one will be the Matty Ice Fest. So that's what I'm going to try to do, like, twice a year here. And then I have crazy ideas of, like, I have one crazy idea right now. I haven't even talked to Ross about this, so I don't even know if I should say that. So, but I have some crazy ideas.
And are these all Ross backed? Like, the Matty Ice Fest? Is this a solo project?
The Matty Ice Fest is not backed by Ross. Okay. Belaire will be involved in it. And this tournament wasn't backed by Ross. Yeah. He had no business in it, all besides Belaire being heavily involved in it.
Gotcha.
And Ross supports what I do, and I think that was the main kicker with it. He did a bunch of drops and got on his camera and video drops and all that stuff. Helped a lot. Ross will definitely be supporting this event. I don't know to what capacity, but I do have some ideas in the future that I want to work with Ross on this.
Good, man. And again, I think that's why Rick Ross, like, genuinely, like, he sees the work you put in. We talked about it 6 months ago in the last episode. The work you put in is legit. And he sees that, and he respects that work. Like, you can see that. So I think it's dope what you're doing. Matty Ice Fest, talk to me a little bit about that now. What like you said, you're going to have, you know, like the freestyle competition a little bit integrated in there. What do you imagine this fest being like? What is it going to be more of like an entertainment side of things? Is it still rap culture based?
It's going to be hip hop culture based for sure. We're going to have Belaire heavily involved in it, Vion heavily involved in it. What I'm going to do different this time is, you know, last time I was just having the performers come and perform, and I really didn't give them much tickets or like kind of manage them on what to do. This time I'm going to give them like 50 tickets and sell them. Go show your friends. Like, give them to your friends. Give them out, whatever you need to do. So we're going to have a lot more people in there based on that aspect of it all, and giving them performers tickets to do what they want with them. We're going to add, I believe, a comedy show.
Oh, fun. Okay.
So we're going to add comedy, tournament, performers, vendors, drinks,
that sounds like a good time.
A concept event, and a $10,000 prize, maybe even more. And the judges this time, we know Deshawn Cory's been announced. Heck, I'll say this right here, right now. I've not told anybody this, but we are in talks right now who actually said he's interested and wants to do it, Baron Davis. So BD, it looks like, is going to be a judge for the Matty Ice Fest.
No
He
way.
said yes. So I've talked to Baron. Baron said yes. But we have to work out the dates and the logistics behind it to make sure he can do it. And just to bring up Baron really quick, somebody that I have the utmost respect for, and he's a GOAT himself.
Yeah. He's
been talking about an artist named Bart Oatmeal, who he thinks is incredible, and he sent me some of his music, and Bart can really rap. He has a real West Coast sound, so I'm looking forward to bringing Baron's artist Bart on the show as well, Bart Oatmeal. But Baron is somebody that saw the previous posts of the tournament, and he's like, yo, this is super dope for the culture, and I love this. So I DM'd Baron maybe a couple weeks ago or a week ago, and I'm like, yo, I really want to have you as a judge for this event. And he's like, I'm down. Let's turn it up. Let me know the details. So that's where we're at right now. But it looks like we have Baron Davis as a confirmed judge, pending the date that we pick. And then we have Deshawn Cory, who has won. And then my final judge, I'll leave that for when we announce it, but it's somebody that's very big.
Cool, man. Oh, that's going to be sick.
Yeah, so
that's
we got,
dope. This is dope.
A great panel,
Yeah.
And a great networking event too, by the way. Like, yo, if you want to network with artists, there's nowhere better to network than the 16-bar freestyle tournament or the Matty Ice Fest.
Yeah.
You're in a room with hundreds of artists and their managers and their A&Rs and their labels, and it's just like a room of networking, man.
Yeah, no, and I definitely want... This is happening in November, right? Matty Ice Fest?
Okay, so...
Or is it being
November is... Listen, I announced it. Matty Ice Fest is happening. It's happening within the next... it's happening right now. It's in motion already. I'm in motion. This is not like a 1, 2, 3 thing. Let's get it together.
Absolutely.
November is the goal right now. It could change to January. So it's going to be November, January, the Arizona Hip Hop Fest in December. That's their month. I want the Arizona Hip Hop Fest to have a big month.
Yeah.
Shout out Justice and everything that they're doing. So I'll be behind that, helping the Arizona Hip Hop Fest in December. So we won't be doing it in December. So if it's not going to happen in November, it's going to happen in January. So it's either November or January, but it is happening November or January. Personally, I almost want it to be January to give me a little bit more time to relax and just to be able to just ease into it.
Yeah.
Last time I was 45 days out and I had to do everything in 45 days. So we did it. But I know what that is too. I'd like to have more time on my side, but November's still plenty of time. And it looks like, I would say it's 50-50 right now. November, January, we're dealing with that today. Like today was a big day for that. So, as the days go on, you'll start to hear more about it.
Got you. And again, like, we're looking forward to it, man. I'm excited.
We need another tournament. And hopefully we can get, somehow we can get this Chris Koch and Dylan thing resurrected somehow. I don't know how. I don't know how we're gonna do it, but it's in my head to make that happen again.
And that'd be amazing. Again, for the culture, for everything. That'd be amazing.
I think fans want to see that.
Yeah.
I think people on Twitch want to see that at this point.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Everyone wants to see that. And again, regardless of what you decide to do, man, you got a great thing going. I think this is what we needed, a competition like this, something to liven everyone up and bring people together. At the end of the day, it's a competition, but it was dope to see everybody in that room together, everybody talking and freestyling, having fun. Because at the end of the day, it really is just about loving your craft, right?
Facts.
So the money's cool, the notoriety's cool, but it's something you used to love to do, and it's dope to see because, again, you really brought the city together.
Dude, using Kid Friendly as an example, like I had no clue who he was before he entered this tournament, and he's somebody that I have my eye on right now, heavy. The Kid Friendly, the friendliest kid. I thought he could have won the whole tournament. I thought he did a great job coming in there as like an underdog. But guys like that I had no clue who they were. Now I know who they are. Like we had a lot of people come to the show that were very talented that we didn't know who they were until they came. Yeah. Even Jazzy J, that female artist that...
Oh, my gosh. Right. She was insane.
Like, bro, like, look at that. In here, you know who she is now.
Yes.
But if she didn't enter, you had no fucking clue.
I had no clue.
That's why she was on the phone with me maybe a week before to enter. She was one of my last entries. And I'm like, Jazzy, enter. You're going to do great. I know you can rap. Enter. It's going to be big for you, win or lose. Even if you lose, this is going to be big for you because you're going to be getting notoriety and you're rapping and showcasing your skills. You don't have to win to be the biggest thing for you.
Absolutely. She lost early in the round.
She lost to Dylan. She won her first.
Yeah, she's the female I remember out of that whole competition. And she lost in the early rounds.
To Dylan.
Yes. And so I'm like, yo, this girl.
She gave Dylan a run for his money. Dylan said that was his hardest round.
I don't blame him. She's crazy. No, and again, like you're right. Like, no matter win or lose, I
show your best.
No clue about a lot of those artists. And now I can't forget them.
Right.
Because they put on such great performances.
Right.
And I can't be the only one.
Right.
So many people now know their names.
She's getting crazy views off the tournament.
Absolutely.
So win or lose, this is content based.
Yeah.
And you're showcasing your skills. Look at a guy like Oswin Benjamin.
Oh, he's phenomenal.
He's fucking incredible.
So
one of the best lyricists I've ever seen, right?
Talented.
He could have won the whole thing.
Yeah.
I think he actually lost to Deshawn Cory in that final round to get to the final. I think that's who he was matched up with.
I believe so.
I think it was Oswin versus Deshawn. I'm pretty sure they were in the same bracket, and I know I think they faced each other. I think they did.
They had to have, right? Yeah.
It shows that I couldn't watch much of the tournament, but I do think that I know they were in the same conference, so I think they faced each other. But even guys like Oswin, he won a few rounds, and he was my first text the following day, like, bro, thank you so much. It was an incredible event, great event, and super appreciative of coming, bro. Like guys like that meant a lot to me.
That's how it should be, man.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, bro, again, to give you your flowers because you have been getting beat up online. Man, you did an amazing
some ways,
job.
though, but like in a lot of ways, I'm getting a lot of...
Which, yeah, and again, but like you deserve it, man. Like, this is not easy work. If it was, why wouldn't have someone done it already? Right? So, again, bro, to give you your flowers, you did an amazing job. You, the rest of your team, I'm looking forward to seeing the next one. This one was so hype. Please keep bringing them. There's going to be controversy. You did amazing, man.
You can't help it, bro. At any tournament,
you can't.
You're going to have controversy, no matter what.
And it's good. It is not, like, it's not always bad, but, you know, some things can get a little rocky. But I'm excited to see what you got stored, man. Like, just thinking 6 months ago, I remember you were kind of like sitting there. You were like, yeah, I think I'm about to start getting it going again.
Right. I remember that because I was
actually
I was
you were kind of stalling for a second because you were taking it, and you were like, I'm going to go. And I was like, all right, let's see it. Man,
I did turn it up after that. I think I remember.
Yeah. Crazy. And bro, I'm so appreciative of you being here. I love having these conversations with you.
Most definitely.
Such a smart guy. You're such a dope guy, and you're genuinely so real. But yeah, thank you for being on, man. That's really all I have. Like, I think that covers the whole tournament.
We'll do the post Matty Ice Fest interview.
We got to.
That will be fun.
That'll be fun.
There'll be drama, I promise you.
Oh,
there'll be another storyline, bro. I promise you.
But,
hopefully, hopefully I want to leave this interview knowing that, I want to let everybody know that my heart was really there. It still is. And I think out of the entire tournament, the shittiest thing of it all is my relationship with Chris Koch. And I think that out of anybody, he was like my dog. Like, and as far as like on the platform, like we weren't like friendly really outside of, we talk here and there, but we weren't like best friends or anything like that. But like on a platform level of like, people knew Chris Koch from my show. People knew my show because of Chris Koch. So I think, on that level of it all, kind of shitty. But let's see what's next. And let's see what happens. But I can't even text the guy. I'm blocked. So
you never know. Time heals. Time heals.
And right now he's on my head. I think he put up a post a week ago, like ice doesn't last long in the desert or something.
Oh man, but so just stuff like that.
Kind of a cool line. But at the end of the day, mad respect to all the artists that competed. Shout out to Deshawn Cory, the champ who won. Well deserved. Make sure you guys stream his project. Shout out Big Doobie. He got a project coming. The Biggest Cactus. And Push Your Luck is a guy that made the Final Four. Shout out Dylan. Dylan's incredible and 21 years old, by the way. And I think
Shout out 21-year-olds. Let's go.
Didn't help that I was just in the club with him a few days ago. But you know what? It is what it is. Everybody knew that he lives in Vegas.
Yeah.
So like,
Shoot, you live in Vegas, bro.
Yeah, bro, I'm there a lot.
Yeah.
It's my second home. I love Las Vegas. I love
Yeah.
It's crazy. I've been starting to go to like the local Vegas. Like, you know, dude, local Vegas is super dope. Like I'm talking about like 15, 20 minutes off the strip.
Yeah.
But like they have everything's 24 hours. Like all the restaurants. And we're talking about like nice fine dining. Like good fucking Chinese Thai places, 24 hours. Like I think that's super dope about Vegas is like everything's 24 hours. Like it's cool. You can just get a vibe.
Dope, man. Well, again, I appreciate it. I thought this was a great episode. We'll see how it goes. Again, this is the first interview you've really done since
my first, and to be real with you, I'm not going to even do another one but based on this. This is it. So I have nothing else really to say. I've said it all.
I think
here.
we've covered it all for the most part.
I hope
I didn't miss anything. But yeah, man. Excited to see what you do next. Matty Ice Fest. Check it out. Belaire. You know all this stuff. You know this man. Check him out in the description below. Yeah, we hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe. And we will see you guys next week. We love you all. The Heatin' Up podcast is out.
Let's go. Shout out Heatin' Up.